Welcome back, traders. This time we're picking up from where we left off on Bitcoin technical analysis, or how I carry out my technical analysis using the volume profile to assist me with my trades, right? So we're going to be picking up on that because, as we can see, the crypto market is now starting to heat up. Things are really beginning to look interesting out here. Okay, so obviously you already know my core values in terms of crypto, what I actually truly think about crypto in terms of its intrinsic value. But at the same time, it is what it is. The world has said this is money, so bottom line is, and there is money in it. So what we're going to do, we're going to capitalize on that, as well as we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that we are not overexposed, right? So if this bubble ever bursts, we should find ourselves not too much in a hole, right? And we should be able, or we should have done all the smart things we're supposed to do to make sure that we're not left holding the bag, right? Because obviously crypto is really interesting. I mean, Bitcoin, all the other altcoins that's out there, they're really interesting, because one of the things that we always want to bear in mind is the fact of what is the true actual value, right? And besides the technology, besides it, right, there isn't really any value, right? So in saying what I'm saying now, if you've just come on this channel to watch me do the analysis of Bitcoin, bearing in mind I'm only adding truth. Most people in the space, they only want to hear what they want to hear. So, but however, I want to add truth, because truth is, this is what stops us from making huge mistakes. So, is there money in Bitcoin? Absolutely. Should you go and get some? Absolutely. However, be careful, be cautious. Don't take unnecessary risk, right? So with that said and done, with that rant out of the way, we're going to get straight into the analysis as to what's going on right now, and as well as I need to tweak up this volume profile a little bit, because as we can see, a few things have changed. The low value node areas have all moved. Okay, so we had one down here when we first started, but as we can see, a whole bunch of buyers has now started to creep in. It's now turned this area right here into a high volume node. Okay, so this area is now a high volume node. We are still outside of the high value area. I may need to adjust the volume profile a slight bit just to make sure that we are tapped in the where we're supposed to be tapped in. So let me just get this up, actually, as a matter of fact. Let me just get the volume profile indicator up, if I can just find the thing. Okay, here we are. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to add a histogram to it, so at least we have an idea where we're deriving it from. Okay, so we are deriving our analysis from this area in regards to using the volume profile. The next thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to adjust all the low volume node areas, because that needs to change. So let's get rid of this one. This one looks cool. We're above that, so we don't need that anymore. We don't need this anymore, and we don't need this anymore either. Okay, so what we do need to keep an eye on is what's going on in this area, and for that I'm going to bring in a new level on my rectangle box, and we're going to draw in a new low value node level. This is where price is kind of playing about right now. Now, what we're kind of waiting for is to see what else it's going to do, because like I say, this is beginning to feel like the bull run is about to start, and we have a really lovely indicator right here, which is that price has moved through the low value node area and come back in, tapped in again, and is now consolidating in this area. So if you were to ask for my personal opinion as to what I would be doing right now, based on what I'm seeing, I'll be locking in buyers. I'll be locking in long positions, right? That's exactly what I'll be doing. Long positions in the crypto space. Why? Because I believe it's only going to push higher, going off the fact that I can see a bounce off the low value node area. Now, if you want to understand what it is that I'm talking about in regards to low value node area, especially if this is the first time of you coming onto this channel, there is a video that I did, or there is a video playlist which is on the volume profile. This is what we use to assist in the process of our trade. This analytical tool right here. So that's what we use to help us. I've done a video on that. So I recommend, if you're totally new to volume profile, either watch other people's content on the volume profile, which may differ to how I use it, or find that video in the playlist. It's going to be listed on the channel somewhere. Go and watch that, and then once you've done watching that, everything I do will begin to make sense to you in regards to how I am using the volume profile, because I do have my own style of how I use it. Okay, and my main focus is on the low volume node areas, right? I'm not too concerned about the high value node areas, only the low volume node areas. That's where my concern mainly lies in regards to the volume profile. So what will I be looking for in this area? I'll be looking for buys. Now, I don't know how high BTC is going to go. So in regards of a TP, I won't have one set. I will just be like, okay, let's just ride this as high as it can go. And when it begins to consolidate, I would then be bringing in a trailing stop to make sure whatever happens, I'm not left holding the bag. That's how I would basically behave and treat BTC if I was in BTC right now. So another thing that we also want to look at as well, let me adjust this area a little bit. Let me just adjust this area a little bit. Yep, make it like this. This looks great. Let me just add additional levels in here as well. Because what I normally do is I add layers to my volume profile depending on how deep it is, right? So the more grooves we have to the inside of the volume profile, the more layers I will add. So in this case, we can see we have 3 layers, and obviously it gets to a darker shade of purple as we go through it. So as we can see, price is mainly bouncing around this area before it did its push, and as we can see, price has now come back into the area that I would consider the stronger part of the volume profile, which is this darker shade of purple right here. Price has tapped in, and now price is moving away. So that's what we have right now. Okay, in terms of news, what can we see? Will Bitcoin impede or support altcoin rally? On-chain data signal market uncertainty. Okay, so as we can see, other cryptos are beginning to moon too. Hence why I'm saying it looks like everything is heating up. The crypto market is on fire. And this is a fantastic opportunity to be in. But at the same time, we want to be sensible. Because obviously, you're coming over here to watch a channel like mine on technicals, etc. I like to think that you're a lot smarter than the general people out there that are just jumping in because they've begun to hear that the move is happening. And when the crypto space wasn't doing anything, they never got in. But now it's mooning, now they want to jump in. This is why we want to be careful, because when the retail guys are jumping into crypto, when crypto is beginning to moon, this is where you want to protect yourself, because 99.99% of the time, they're always wrong, because they never take time to actually do the analytical work, right? They want somebody to do it for them. So whenever they're coming in, the party is just ending, everyone is left. All the stars have left, the celebrities are gone. The only guys that are there are the ones that came late, and there's nothing left besides talk of how good the party was. And this is why this is so important, guys. This is why this is so important, because this move that it took place in this area right here is a recent occurrence in terms of this consolidation in this area. Now it's beginning to move. We want to be mindful as to what Main Street is doing, right? Obviously, we're part of Main Street, but I like to say we're the sophisticated part of Main Street, which is we know what it is that we're doing. So be mindful, protect yourself in your trades, and don't let yourself be too overexposed in terms of how you're locked in. And remember, at the core value of your Bitcoin trade or your crypto trade is that they have no value. We are speculating on air, right? It's important you know that money is money, this is air, and we got to be careful. But at the same time, there's money in it, so why don't we just go out there and get some for ourselves, right? So with that said, I'm not going to bother to layer out weekly highs or weekly lows in this area right here, because it's self-explanatory. Weekly highs have all been taken out. Okay, so last week's high was taken out. The previous week's high Was not really taken out because that's this level right here. Okay, that's this level right here. Was not really taken out, but bottom line is the weekly low wasn't either. So we kind of did everything correctly in terms of what we're seeing. And what's important, what is really important is, like I say, you protect yourself at all times in this space. Do not take unnecessary risk. So with that, we're going to jump into a lower time frame. So let's go into the 1 hour. And let's see what's going on here real quick. Okay, so within the 1 hour, we can see a beginning of a price build up in this area. So we have a price build up in this area right now. Okay, we do have a high volume node right here. So that basically is indicating that there's a lot of buyers or a lot of market activity in this level right here. If you've tapped in anywhere around here, I say don't do anything. Wait to see how everything pans out. And key areas, especially in this small time frame window that we're looking at right now, is we want to be mindful of this little trend down here. We want to be mindful of this little trend line down here to make sure that's not broken, because that will bring us back into the low volume node area. And we also want to keep an eye as to what is happening on the top side, because we do have some form of a squeeze in market right now. So with those two taking place, we need to know, where is everything going to spill into? Is it going to spill to the upside or explode to the upside, or is it going to spill over into the downside, where if you have not protected yourself, you will be holding a bag, or at worst, you would have been stopped out. So these are the things I want you to consider. Okay, these are the things I want you to consider. And I'll just put out some price points here for you as well. Okay. So 120.77.6. Okay. You want to see that level taken out. That will give you confidence to say the push to the upside is continuing. Right. A close below 115.73.2. This is where you might want to consider protecting yourself, because there is a probability that price might be blasting through this low value node area and taking you out the game. So you want to be mindful of these things, right? And finally, let's have a look to see where everybody is, because that's the one thing that I didn't check out. Let's see where everybody is in this game. Where is everybody chilling right now? Okay, let me go back into this again. Let's add the values. Okay, so as we can see here, you see these numbers that you're seeing right here. Okay, if I was a betting man, and I am, I would say that these are all institutional guys putting in buys in this area. You do have one guy up here selling, but I would say these are all institutional guys putting in buys right now. Okay, so once again, be mindful. This thing does look like it is going to be pushing up. I am very bullish on Bitcoin right now. Okay, it's giving me no reason to be bearish. I am super bullish, and I think this is just the beginning of the golden period of the crypto space. But remember, at some point the party will end, so get paid whilst there's money out. And with that said, I will see you all on the next one.